Hi everyone, my name is Omar and welcome back to the Debo's Way. So I've been off Instagram for 4 years, Snapchat for around 2 years and a half, and TikTok I've never had. And then for YouTube, I've had it on my browser because I was learning a lot of French and Spanish and also some ukulele tutorials on there. And honestly, I didn't have as much of a problem with YouTube, so I said if it's on the browser, then it shouldn't be too much of a problem, and it wasn't. So now that I've been off for quite a while, I've learned quite a few things and I thought I'd share them with you today. So here's the top 5 things that I learned from being off social media. And also, before I start the video, by no means am I advocating for you to go off social media or do I think that it's 100% a bad thing. I'm just sharing my experience from being off of it for quite a while. Okay, video time. And now the first thing that I realized was that there was so much noise in my mind. It was so difficult to concentrate on the things that truly mattered to me. It was like whenever I would go on Instagram, I would see X amount of people died, 20 volcanoes erupted in the Pacific Ocean, like so much news, so much politics. My brain was overloaded with information. And by the way, by no means do I think it's bad for you to know information about the world. But if every single time you open social media, you're getting so much information, how are you supposed to just relax and have your brain calm down? It's like the 100 gigabytes is full. Which is actually my second point. Now I have a full video where I explain this concept of the 100 gigabytes, but essentially it's the idea that the same way your phone has a limited amount of capacity, and when that capacity is full, the phone doesn't work anymore, it's the same thing with our brains. And it was only after going off social media and taking a step back that I was able to realize that from my 100 gigabytes, around 40 gigabytes were being filled with information about what this celebrity did, where this friend is going, what this friend had for breakfast. And it was like, this is too much information. And if out of the 100 gigabytes, 40 gigabytes are consumed by social media, 20 gigabytes by university, 20 gigabytes by family, 5 gigabytes by work, what about me? Like what about my gigabytes? Like what about getting to know about myself? And it was like when that 40 gigabytes from social media went away, I was able to allocate more time with family, more time with friends in person, more time for myself. I finally gave myself the gigabytes that I deserved. And that was really nice. And now I want you to ask yourself, has there been too much noise in my mind? And how have I been allocating my 100 gigabytes? Now that's something to think about. And now the third point is that I realized that I couldn't even hear the knocks. And now I have a full video about that. I'll put the link in the description. And I know I keep referring to my older videos, but like I said, this is the Debo's way. So it's a whole mentality, right? But the idea of me not hearing the knocks is essentially having past versions of myself that I had neglected, and these past versions were trying to talk to me. They just wanted to be heard. But because I lacked the ability to sit down on my own without being distracted by scrolling or like going on Snapchat or essentially using social media to unconsciously not face myself, I wasn't able to hear the knocks. But then thankfully when I took that step back and I was able to decrease the noise levels and my 100 gigabytes was more in my control and I was able to give myself some space, I was able to start hearing the knocks and then start addressing those past versions that I had neglected. And now honestly, this is one of the most important questions I'm probably gonna ask on this channel. Do you hear the knocks? And I want you to think about that. And now the fourth thing that I realized was that I was passively using social media instead of actively choosing to use it. So for example, I would be studying and then all of a sudden I would unconsciously pick up my phone, put in my password and then start scrolling on Instagram and then move from Instagram to Snapchat and then back to Instagram. And then 15 minutes into it, I would just put my phone down and go like, what on earth has just happened? I definitely did not actively want to do this. So how did I end up here? Another mini bonus point I'll add to point number 4 was my attention span was horrendous. I tried reading a book and every 2 to 3 pages I would just zone out and then again mindlessly start scrolling, passively start using my phone and social media, and it was like, holy. And now thankfully I can read books without being disrupted, at least as much. So yeah, that's a mini bonus point. And now the fifth thing that I realized was that social media wasn't just the problem, but going off of it was the first step that allowed me to see everything from a bigger picture. Because when you're in it and when you're immersed and there's all this noise and the 100 gigabytes are full and all these things that we talked about, it's very difficult to analyze the situation. For example, when I went off social media, did I magically stop seeking external validation? Absolutely not. But I just became more aware of it, so it was something that I could start to work on. Did I magically become the most productive, non-distracted person in the world? Absolutely not. But again, I was more aware of how easily distracted I was. So I was able to work on these things. But if you're in the middle of everything, you're not going to be able to see it. Now, do I think that going off social media is the solution to all your problems and that life will become all sunshine and rainbows? Absolutely not. But what I do think is that it will help the noise levels go down. You will have more control of your 100 gigabytes, you might start to hear the knocks, and you will start to live a more active rather than a passive life. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that I've given you something to think about. And like I always say, this is the Debo's way. Find your own way. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Peace.